Hello everyone, and welcome to this, well, I guess I can call this a video, even though this is going to be under a live stream, like format, but I'm here to let you guys know that I'm here to talk to you guys about my top 10 things, well, as you guys are going to see, you guys can easily see it on the title, but it's top 10 improvements, or 10 improvements I would add to my universe mode. Because there are, as you guys know, I'm a big fan of my universe mode because I play it and I live stream it on my channel. And I give you guys a lot of great content with it. So I decided I'm going to be running through things that I believe that 2K should definitely add into my universe mode, because I think it's a bit, to be perfectly fair, I'm not really big on, well, I have enjoyed this version of my universe mode. But there are definitely some improvements that they are going to have to make into 2K20. So I'm here to run you guys down my top 10 things I want them to change. Well, first things first, I want to quickly inform everybody that Greg Hamilton is now a part of 2K20. He'll be making his in-game debut as a ring announcer, which is definitely great. I am very happy about that. I'm not a big fan of JoJo, so I'm glad I will be hearing Mr. Hamilton's voice in my universe mode, because, yeah, as you guys can tell, I don't have the commentary or the ring announcing, even though I did have it on my universe mode for a bit, but then I took it off because I just wasn't a big fan of JoJo. Anyway, enough dawdling. And by the way, I'm not playing this. I'm just going to be talking you guys through the 10 improvements that my universe mode needs. These are the things that I'm going to be running you guys down. So I got this up. So I've got like a note here on my laptop. I've got a note on my laptop, so then that way I can easily remember what I want to say. So anyway, here are the 10 improvements that I wish my universe mode got. Well, these are the top 10 things that I would hope they add to my universe mode, and one of them is important, because one of them, well, actually a lot of these are pretty important, because these are the things that I would want. So the first thing I believe they should add is an injury system, and that injury system really needs to be fixed. I think it really needs to be fixed, because as you guys know, trying to injure people in 2K into 2K games up to this point has been pretty shit. To be perfectly honest, it has been pretty shit. I'm not a big fan of the injury system that you have to beat people up for like 3 weeks just to call it an injury. I think they need to go back to the traditional routes of injuries like they did in WWE12, WWE13, and even WWE2K20. Like the way they did injuries in those games, I believe that's how it needs to be done. So, yeah, I think that's how it needs to be done. So, yeah, I think that's how it needs to be done. So, hey Clark, how you doing, man? Just making a video, just talking about some things. So, don't mind me. So yeah, I think the injury systems really needs to be fixed for 2K20. So yeah, I just think that it needs to be fixed. Like I said, like I think they should go back to the way it was in 2K like in 2K14, WWE13, and WWE12, like when it was random, like injuries was like a random event in those games. I think injuries really needs to go back to that type of way, because it was definitely a lot better. And also they need to say how long they're going to be out for, because in 2K19, like, and yeah, I just thought it was just a bit unnecessary to do that. So like, it needs to be a random event again, because I think having it be a random event was definitely a lot more fun than just being all like, oh hey, you got to beat this guy up for a couple of weeks just to call it an injury. Because there was a time, like, there, like as you, if you guys have been paying attention to my universe mode, like if you guys saw my Fastlane event, like bloody, like Charlotte and Ali got like a minor injury. They got like minor injuries in their matches, and then the game like said that they can still compete despite their minor injuries. I think even if their injuries are minor, you shouldn't be allowed to use them, like if they're minor injuries or not. Like if they're injured, like the game should just say you can't use this wrestler for like minor injuries. I think they should be about 2 to 3 weeks, a 2 to 3 week injury span. But if the injuries get heavier, that's how it should change, in my opinion. So I think the injury system really needs to change. I'm not a big fan of like a wrestler is like getting injured but they can still wrestle. Like, I get that's the whole point of what it is in real life, but I think in universe mode, I think they should really change it up. They should really change it up. Anyway, the second thing I wish they would add into my universe mode, and by the way, for those who just joined this, I guess I should call it a stream, because it technically is, but I'm making a video-like version, so please hit that thumbs up as well. I would greatly appreciate the support as well. So the second thing I'm going to talk about in this video is backstage interviews. This is definitely one thing I think they should add into my universe mode as well for WWE2K20, because we all know it really needs it. So for those who are wondering, this is for 2K20, the upcoming game that's coming out in 2 months. So universe mode really needs backstage interviews, because I'm not a fan of, like, I want to use the whole, you know, the whole interview system more, or the promo section more. But the problem is, like, I want this to be treated like an actual Raw or an actual SmackDown. That's what I wanted. That's the way I wanted my universe mode to be. I wanted it to be like, it's really us booking these shows, but not having backstage interviews or having incidents happen backstage. It just felt really weird, and it just wasn't. And I think they really need to add in more, like cutscenes and activate stuff going on backstage. I think that stuff should be added in as well. Like I said, like they need to have backstage interviews as well, because I want things to be a bit more realistic when it comes to universe mode. Like, you can even have in like situations where maybe you can add in someone gets it, like the person that's being interviewed. Like, you can probably have like a spot where maybe someone, the person that's being interviewed gets jumped by a rival or something like that. Like, I wish they'd add more to it. And yeah, I just think that's just what I think they should do, to be perfectly honest. And speaking of promos, the one thing they need to add is tag team promos. If there's one thing that I don't like about the promo system, is that, you know, they have they have like the promo system where you can cut promos, but the only tag team like promos they have is like, oh, you can form a team or you can break up a team. So yeah, that's just one of the things I want to speak about. Speak about there. Is that they need to add more tag team like promos. Like it doesn't like we see it all the time. Like we see promos all the time nowadays anyway. So I don't know what's the whole use of not having like two guys in a ring cutting a promo on like their rivals like in a tag team match. To me it just makes no sense. They need to add tag team promos as well. That's definitely just one thing I think they need to add. I also think they need to fix the rivalry. They need to actually I almost skipped one. One thing they need to add in is that the Royal Rumble winner, as you guys can see going on the screen right now, the Royal Rumble winner should be allowed to choose their WrestleMania opponent. As you guys know, when it comes to My Universe mode, the winner of the Royal Rumble, depending on the brand of the wrestler and what brand they're on. Now, I know what some people can easily say. Some people can say, well, it's very simple, or it's very simple for this. All you got to do is just switch them over to the opposite brand, just to have them, you know, fight for the different title that you want them to face. But I want it to be more like a choice in the game. Like, I want the game to make it like a choice. Like, should the Rumble winner choose his or her current brand champion, or he or she decide to go over to SmackDown and challenge for their respective titles? I think that's definitely one thing they should add into a universe mode as well in WWE2K20. So, like, I want it to be like look at Asuka. Like, look at Asuka last year. Like she was a part of Raw and she chose Charlotte, who was on SmackDown at the time. Becky Lynch, who was on SmackDown, she challenged Ronda Rousey. Like, she was given the choice to pick who she wanted to face. I think the Royal Rumble winners should be given the choice in the matter. I think they should be given the choice to choose who they want to go for in these games, because I don't want to do it. I don't want to make the game do it. I want to do it. I want the game to do it itself. Like, they need to have certain situations where the game actually does it. I think, you know, you yourself doing it isn't really all that fun. To me, having yourself do it isn't really all that fun. It's like, you know that that's what you want to do, and all you got to do is just fix it. So, yeah, I think the game should really make it that the game should make that decision. So, yeah, I think that's one thing 2K needs to add. And another thing they need to fix is the rivalries. I think the rivalries it's fine to keep those there. You can keep the rivalries and have the rivalries be automatic. But I think what they need to add is triple threat rivalries, fatal 4-way rivalries, handicap rivalries, like group rivalries, you know, like for example, like if you want to feud, if you want to have the OC feud with the Undisputed Era, you're gonna need. How are you gonna do that? Realistically in a game, how are you gonna have the OC feud with the Undisputed Era? You can't. There's no realistic way. The only realistic way to do is just book them in a match. That's the only way to get your OC versus Undisputed Era match. But what if you want it as a feud? That's what I think they need to do. I think they need to have in a section where you can choose what type of rivalry do you want. And I think if they give us rivalries where you can have triple threat rivalries, fatal 4-way rivalries, or even group rivalries. Like I said, you can do the OC and the Undisputed Era as a stable rivalry. That's what I'm talking about. I think if they add group rivalries and different styles of rivalries, I think the rivalry system will definitely have a lot more improvements as well. And for those who are wondering, these have been 5 things that I have spoken about so far, and the next one I'm going to be talking about is, you know, the in-game currency, the in-game money that we get in these games. I want that to matter. I want that to actually matter when it comes to universe mode. I mean, like something like, think back to the general manager mode days where you had to pay wrestlers or buy wrestlers just to get them on your roster. I think if they actually make the money worth something, like you could maybe pay them, you could have like an in-game currency for the games. I know they probably won't do this because it's maybe too difficult, but all I'm saying is that they could do that if they really wanted to. So I don't know if they want to make the in-game currency a thing, they could do that. They could, but it really all depends. It really all depends. If you guys think they should add in money to the 2K games, then you can. But if you think it will work, I think it can work, but I'm not 100% sure if it will work. I think it can work if it's given the right direction that it needs. One thing that I'm not a fan of these games is the interferences. Now, I love the interferences in games, but the way they have treated the interferences in these games, I'm not a big fan of. Like in games like in WWE12, WWE13, like when you had interferences, like you can just run in and attack somebody. You can just run in and attack somebody. You can just do it yourself. You don't have to, you know, like you can just do it yourself. So, yeah. So, I just think that is something that should be implemented as well. They should make interferences mean something, like the ways of WWE 13 and WWE 12, where, like, if you were to attack someone, like, I used to do this quite a bit myself. Like, when I would attack somebody, and then the game would say, this wrestler turned heel. Like, that's what I think it should do. I think the interferences should really apply to what goes on. Like, if it's a babyface wrestler and then the babyface like attacks a babyface wrestler, they become a heel. Or if a heel wrestler attacks a heel wrestler, they become a babyface. Like, that's what those games did. And I think they should really add that in to make things interesting. But the rivalries nowadays really sucks, because if you guys have been paying attention to my universe mode, that's why I've changed a lot of wrestlers from face to heel. I do it depending on the situations. Like, as you guys saw at my Fastlane pay-per-view, Sami Zayn turned on Kevin Owens and bother helping him. So that, to me, triggered a face turn for Kevin Owens. Shayna Baszler jumping in and attacking Sonya Deville as her debut. That was a face turn for Sonya Deville. So I'm trying to keep things accurate to what goes on my TV or what goes on my game. So and because they don't have that type of feature, I think that's the type of feature they need to add in. They need to add in a face and heel system where you could. I just don't want to, like, force someone into a heel turn by cutting a promo or anything like that. So, you know, to me it's quite annoying. To me it's quite annoying. So that's what. So yeah, they need to have the interferences go back to the way they were, because I think that's definitely something they need to do. Next one is create a story. How many of you guys remember the old create a story from WWE12, WWE13, and 2K14? Trust me, I really loved that. I really loved create a story. I thought it was fun. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was unique. You could add that in. You could easily add that to My Universe mode. Like, you can make it a whole new experience for the people. Like, you can have people like create a story, like a storyline the way they want to. And I think that should, and I think that would be really, really cool, to be perfectly honest. I think that would be really, really cool. I think that is something they should really add. And to be fair, I think it would be really fun if they did add that. I think having create a story in there would definitely be a hell of a lot of fun. And trust me, people will get very creative with universe mode if that is indeed in there. I think there'll be a lot of creative ideas if they add create a story to the whole game. Now we're down to the final two. We're down to the final two things I would add to My Universe mode for 2K20, and that is a trade system. Now, if you guys remember in General Manager mode from 2006, 2007, and 2008, you can put up trade offers. You can put up trade offers for wrestlers. Like, if you want to trade a certain wrestler to another brand, you can do that. I think that's definitely one thing they should bring back into this game, because they should definitely bring it back where you can have a trade system. Like, to me, it's kind of stupid. Like, to me, it's really dumb. Like, if I want to change someone midway through the year, I'm gonna have to go to Raw. Like, if I'm on the Raw brand, I'm gonna have to switch someone. But in order for me to switch someone from SmackDown, I'm going to have to go to the SmackDown roster just to pick somebody. Because when you go to the whole list of wrestlers, you got the whole list of who's in the game. And I don't want to be, scrolling through a whole bloody list of wrestlers just so then I can find the wrestler I want to trade. So I think they should definitely add in a trading system. That is definitely something they should definitely add. A trading system would definitely be a must-have. And because I mentioned the trading system, the final thing that I believe that should be added to 2K20 is a superstar shake-up/draft. This is definitely something they need to add into these games. Reason is because we are still in draft season. There is absolutely no excuse for 2K games to be leaving out the draft. Especially 2017, I could probably let that slide because they just brought it back. But what was the excuse for 2K18 to not have the Superstar Shake-Up added? What was the excuse for not having the Superstar Shake-Up added in 2K19? They need to add the Superstar Shake-Up into this year's game. They have to. They need to. And it's the whole point of Universe mode. What if we want to do a draft? And that's the whole point of it. Like, everybody would do a draft. No one is going to have a Universe mode where all the wrestlers are going to be a part of one show, or when they're not going to have the draft. They would want to have separate titles. They would want to have separate titles. They would want to have all that stuff in. So, in my personal opinion, they should definitely add in. They should definitely bring in the Superstar Shake-Up. You can have it happen at the end of every year. After every WrestleMania, you can have a Superstar Shake-Up where you can put the respective superstars from Raw and the representatives from Raw and SmackDown in the ring against each other to battle it out over a superstar from the opposing brands. And trust me, that was a lot of fun. To me, that was a lot of fun because you had no idea who was going to be drafted to the game. You just didn't know who was going to get drafted. If there's one little minor detail I would add to the Superstar Shakeup / draft or whatever you want to call it, if there's one little detail that I would add to the whole thing is that if you have a women's match, say Charlotte representing SmackDown versus Sasha Banks who represents Raw, if you're going to have a women's match, I think the women's matches should only be allowed to draft the women. I think the tag team matches should be allowed to change the tag teams. And obviously the singles, obviously the men can do the men. So that's just what I would do for 2K20's Superstar Shakeup, just to make things a little bit more interesting. So anyway, guys, that is all I've got for you guys in this. I would call it live stream, but at the same time, it's also a video just with the live stream chat a part of it. That's all I've got. That's all I've got for you guys. I gave you guys my 10 top 10 improvements that my universe mode needs for 2K20. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that thumbs up if you guys did enjoy the video. Share your thoughts as well in the comment section down below. And I will see you all when I start my live stream for my universe mode. I'll definitely start that tomorrow. So be sure to tune in then. And I'll see you all then. See you later, guys.